Today on Public Eye News, 1 year after the MSU mass shooting, new gun safety laws are taking effect in Michigan, and later, a devastating winter storm is battering the East Coast.
Reed Hall will have your sports update, and Bianca Kroll will have your weather forecast for the next couple days. I'm Liam Mulan-Joy.
And I'm Kenzie Harrod, and this is Public Eye News. One year after the Michigan State mass shooting, Michigan enforces sweeping gun regulations. Background checks are now mandatory for all gun purchases, and gun owners must store firearms safely around minors. The red flag law empowers various individuals to intervene if someone poses a threat. These changes follow a comprehensive gun safety package drafted after the 2021 Oxford High School shooting. Advocates like State Senator Rosemary Byer pushed for these measures, accelerated by the MSU tragedy. However, concerns persist over implementation, especially with the red flag laws, facing pushback in a state deeply rooted in gun culture. Gun control advocates, including MSU students, continue to press for further action. The impact of these new laws remain uncertain. And in a shocking development, a former narcotics enforcement police officer, Scott Monette, has been sentenced to 90 days in jail and 18 months probation for possession of methamphetamine. Monette, once with the Houghton City Police Department and the Upper Peninsula Substance Enforcement Team, resigned and won't renew his police certification. Conditions include drug testing and counseling. Allegations arose in 2021, leading to a Michigan State Police investigation which discovered methamphetamine and smoking pipes at Monette's residence. Attorney General Dana Nessel emphasized the need to end Monette's law enforcement career, highlighting the impact on trust in law enforcement.
Michigan State Representative Josh Shriver has lost his committee assignment and staff after sharing an image espousing a racist ideology on X, formerly Twitter. The post, which was shared yesterday, depicted a world map in which white figures were surrounded and outnumbered by black ones. The caption on the image simply read, "The Great Replacement," which refers to a conspiracy theory that claims there is a plot to weaken the influence of white people. Shriver, who is white himself, was admonished by Michigan House Speaker Joe Tate, who said the representative, quote, "has a history of promoting debunked theories and dangerous rhetoric that jeopardizes the safety of Michigan residents and contributes to a hostile and uncomfortable environment for others," end quote. Shriver defended himself in a statement to the Detroit News saying, quote, "I'm opposed to racist, race baiters, and victim politics. What I find strange is the agenda to demoralize and reduce our white portion of the population," unquote. A federal judge in Ohio has extended a block on enforcement of a state law requiring children under the age of 16 to get parental permission before using certain social media apps. The Social Media Parental Notification Act was part of a state budget bill that Republican Governor Mike DeWine signed into law in July of last year. His administration described the law as a way to protect children's mental health. Originally set to take effect January 15th, U.S. District Court Judge Algernon Marbley's Monday decision, granting a preliminary injunction, prevents it from going into force. At the same time, a lawsuit filed by trade group NetChoice seeks to challenge the law, making the argument that it is too broad and prohibitive to free speech. In his decision, Marbley said NetChoice is likely to prevail on its First Amendment arguments. The group has already won lawsuits against similar laws in California and Arkansas. And Minnesota police are investigating more than 40 reports of robbery over the weekend, with a majority saying the crimes were committed by juveniles and the victims were held at gunpoint. Reporter Reg Chapman has more. Take a look.
And just boom, in a second, your life can change completely.
Melanie Olson had just parked her car outside her uptown apartment Thursday night and began walking towards the door when
I heard a car come up behind me and stop abruptly, so I went to turn my head and there was a gun to my temple. And they asked if there was any money in my purse. I said no, and they took my purse and my keys. I just let everything go.
In shock, she says she did what came natural.
And then I screamed in the middle of the street for a good 2-3 minutes. People drove around me. People weren't helping me. I think everybody was afraid. And so my neighbors came out and called the cops and helped me.
When police arrived, she learned she was one of 7 robbery victims Thursday night alone, all robbed at gunpoint, some assaulted.
I'm thankful because I'm still here. It could have been so much worse. My stuff can be replaced, but I can't.
Melanie is speaking out so others know what is going on in several neighborhoods across Minneapolis.
I feel like they're young, and I feel like they don't take into consideration what they're doing to other people. It's like a game.
We had 46 violent crimes reported over the weekend, and 70% of those are robberies.
Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara says those robbery numbers are being driven by juvenile offenders. MPD's proactive units, as well as investigative and intelligence components, are trying to identify the young people involved.
We need real consequences for kids that are out there, putting a gun in someone's mouth to rob them of property. That's outrageous.
O'Hara says he suspects that 3 young offenders arrested today were part of a bigger crowd from this weekend, a pattern that Melanie hopes has stopped and one she says will not control her life.
I'm trying to still live my life with love and understanding, even though I'm traumatized. You can't live in fear.
Reg Chapman, WCCO News.
Now don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with your weather and national news after this break.
I'm Lisa Steele, author, blogger, and 5th-generation chicken keeper. I live in rural Maine with my husband, flock of chickens, ducks, and geese, Winston the corgi, and Linus the indoor-outdoor barn cat. We moved to Maine for the peace and serenity. We wanted a simpler life and to step back in time where there are still corner stores and your neighbors still know your name.
Today at 4:30.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Bianca Crow, and here's our weather forecast for today. Looking at our roof cam here, there is snow back on the ground. We are no longer seeing the green, so we're hoping to see more snow this weekend. And looking at the map here, is cloudy all along the UP, with starting in Houghton, it is 23, in Ironwood, it is 25, in Iron Mountain, 28, and in Menominee, 30. And looking at the other side of the UP over here, in Escanaba, it is 29, in Manistee, 29, Sault Ste. Marie, 27, and partly cloudy over here, and in Marquette here, 25. And looking at the current conditions, the winds are north-northwest, 50 miles per hour, with a barometric pressure of 30.10 inches and rising. And looking at tonight's forecast, it's going to be mostly cloudy with a low of 18 and the winds west 8 miles per hour. And looking at tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be partly cloudy with a high of 37 and a low of 27 with winds south-southwest 13 miles per hour. And looking ahead here, Thursday is going to be a high of 30 and a low of 16 with some flurries. Friday is going to be a high of 18 with a low of 13 and cloudy, and Saturday is going to be a high of 28 and a low of 21 and also cloudy. That's all I have for the weather forecast here. Now back to the desk for some more surprising weather updates.
Thank you so much for that weather update. And moving on to some more weather news. A powerful coastal storm is set to unleash havoc in the Northeast, prompting school closures. Warnings against travel and flight disruptions. New York City bracing for significant snowfall. Switches to remote learning. Northern suburbs of New York City and southwestern Connecticut could see 12 to 15 inches of snow. Wind gusts may reach 60 miles an hour off Massachusetts coast and 40 miles an hour in southern part of New England. Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey urges non-essential employees to stay home, and Boston imposes a parking ban. Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, and other states also gear up for the storm with closures and travel restrictions. Residents are advised to stay safe as officials prepare for potential power outages. And the Senate has passed a $95.3 billion aid package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, facing opposition from a group of Republicans. The bill includes $60 billion for Ukraine to address critical shortages on the battlefield, but its fate in the House remains uncertain. Speaker Mike Johnson expressed doubt, suggesting it could be weeks or months before reaching President Joe Biden's desk, if at all. The aid package also covers Israel's conflict with Hamas, support for Taiwan, and humanitarian assistance for various conflict zones. President Biden prompted urgent House action, emphasizing the rising costs of inaction, especially in Ukraine. The situation exposes divisions within the Republican Party, with some opposing the aid. The conflict in the Middle East was at the top of the agenda yesterday when the King of Jordan met with President Biden at the White House. Topics included the latest negotiations on a possible hostage deal. They also urged Israel not to launch a ground assault in the southern Gaza city of Rafah. CBS News correspondent Ian Lee has more.
A tough warning from President Biden and Jordan's King Abdullah to Israel as it threatens to invade the southern Gaza city of Rafah.
The major military operation in Rafah should not proceed without a credible plan for ensuring the safety and support of more than 1 million people sheltering there.
We cannot afford an Israeli attack on Rafah. It is certain to produce another humanitarian catastrophe.
Over 1 million displaced Palestinians fled to Rafah to escape strikes in the north over the past 4 months. Israeli officials say Hamas fighters are also there and they want to destroy them. Tel Aviv has called on the UN to help evacuate civilians before a ground assault.
Don't say it can't be done. Work with us to find a way.
And in southern Gaza, more explosions this morning. A day after Israeli forces rescued 2 hostages, 70-year-old Louise Har and 60-year-old Fernando Simon Marman, from an apartment in Rafah. But dozens of Palestinians died from heavy airstrikes conducted during that raid.
Every innocent life in Gaza is a tragedy, just as every innocent life lost in Israel is a tragedy as well.
President Biden says the U.S. is also working on a hostage deal that could include a 6-week or longer pause in fighting. Ian Lee, CBS News.
We'll be right back after this short break. Stay tuned.
So I want to know where it all came from.
On Finding Your Roots, Danielle Brooks.
That blew my mind.
And Dionne Warwick.
I come from a singing family.
From bondage to battle.
What do you make of him?
It changes the game for my family.
And freedom gained at a cost.
Did you know you had such deep roots there?
No, it was never, ever mentioned or talked about.
Finding Your Roots.
Tonight at 8 on Wnmu-Tv.
Welcome back. I'm Reed Hall here to walk you through our sports update. Starting things off on the ice, the Detroit Red Wings head west tonight to take on the Edmonton Oilers in the first of a 4-game Western Canada road trip. Both teams enter this matchup red hot as the Oilers are winners of 8 of their last 10 games, while the Wings are 7-2-1 in that same span. The last time these two teams met, it took extra time to determine a winner as Edmonton emerged victorious 3-2. The Oilers currently sit third in the Pacific Division and are a stout 16-6-1 at home. The Wings, who currently hold the second wildcard spot in a heated Eastern Conference playoff race, will lean on stars Dylan Larkin and Alex DeBrincat to shoot their way to a win. Expect the winner of this game to find the back of the net plenty, as the Wings and Oilers have a combined 53-14-3 record when they score 3 or more goals. And staying out west, the new-look Detroit Pistons look to get back into unfamiliar territory, the win column, tonight when they face Los Angeles Lakers. A tall task awaits as the Lakers are 18-9 at home, while the Pistons have just 4 road wins on the season. The last time these two teams met, D'Angelo Russell dropped 35 points, and the Lakers ran away with the 133-107 victory. The Pistons, who are currently 2-1 on their road trip, upsetting the Kings and storming back against the Trailblazers to win in overtime, will look to continue these ways with the help of Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, and emerging star Jaden Ivey, who are both averaging over 20 points per game in their last 10 games. If you're looking to stay up late to catch newly acquired Quentin Grimes, you'll have to wait a little longer as he's been ruled out with a knee injury. And back here at NMU, the swim and dive team had a successful weekend competing at the GLIAC Championships. On the men's side, the team finished the weekend in second and found 2 swimmers atop the podium. William LeCount earned a bronze in the 100-meter freestyle, while Wyatt Dixon also claimed bronze in the 200-meter backstroke. On the women's side, the team finished the weekend in third, but saw 6 women take home hardware. The 400-meter free relay team, consisting of Becca Burrows, Mia Strasny, Olivia Hare, and Carlotta Santi, claimed bronze, while Burrow also found the podium in the 100-meter free. Evie DeCarlo and Zoe DeKevitt also medaled, placing second and third in the 200-meter breaststroke. That's all the sports I have. Back to the news desk.
Thank you for that sports update. And I just want to ask you, have you heard about the NMU versus Tech choral arrangement that's going on?
I have, but the thing is, the difference, when you ask people about the relationship between NMU and Tech, they usually think it's competitive, but in fact there's going to be a choral collaboration coming up later this month. That is a website for that, so just very exciting to hear about.
That's awesome. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. I'm Kenzie Harrod.
And I'm Liam Mulanjoy.
And this has been Public Eye News. We'll see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by Wnmu-Tv, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.
Thanks for watching today's episode of Public Eye News. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube down below or follow us on Instagram at NMU Penn to never miss a story.